So our soda can project is looking really good so far. We've got the label art built, and we've also added the surface elements. They're going to make it look that much more realistic when we place it into the final scene. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here in this module is adjusting the cap elements. Up to this point, we've been doing nothing but editing the label art, and all that looks really good. But I do want to make some changes to the cap elements. And what I'm talking about, of course, is the top and bottom of the can. You remember me referencing this earlier when we were going into the 3D panel. You had the label material and the cap material. So let me open up my 3D and properties panels here. And all we're going to do is just merely change the color. Right now, it's just set to its default color, which is a very light gray. So over here in the 3D panel, I'm going to have cap material selected. In the properties panel, you're going to go to the diffuse property and choose edit texture on here. And you'll see in the document that it's just a transparent background with the wireframe for the top and bottom elements there. Now, all we're going to do in this document is just give this a dark gray fill. I don't want to use solid black, but I am going to go ahead and select a rather dark gray here in the swatches panel, and just press Option Delete and go ahead and fill that document in with that color. And that's all we're going to do here. So I'm going to close that and save the changes, and there's the new color. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the 3D object here and use my 3D rotate tool to rotate the object so I can see the bottom, and you can see it's gotten a little bit darker. But I'm also going to go back into that cap material, or reselect cap material here, and in the properties panel, make a few adjustments on the surface. Now, the first thing is the specular highlight is a little too bright. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that swatch and just make that a little bit darker color here. You'll see that the specular gets a little bit toned down. And in addition to that, we're going to go down to the shine and reflection properties, and let's take the shine and bump that up to 75%, as well as the reflection. We're going to take that to 75% as well, and that's going to give us this nice, really metallic shine on there. So if I move my can around, you can see how it's behaving on the light, and it looks a little bit more realistic. Looks very nice. So now I just want to reset my position of the object and the camera before we move on to the next phase here. So go into your 3D panel and select Current View, and then go right up here and choose Default to reset the front-facing camera view. But then we're also going to reset the original position of the object by selecting the soda object here in the 3D panel. Go to the Coordinates tab here at the top of the Properties panel, and then click on Reset Coordinates and Move to Ground to reset the ultimate position here. And this is basically resetting it to its original position back when we started at the beginning of this module here. So now we've got our 3D soda product all set up. We've got the label art built, we've got the surface properties applied so that it will look more realistic when we place it in the final environment. And that's what we're going to go ahead and start building in the next module. So join me there.